Hello everybody, in this video what I'd like to do is to explain to you how to do the midterm exam. So at this point you've been through about half the lectures through the semester, you've been through half the sways. I have some of the sways up here right now on Socrates, Plato and Aristotle, Hellenistic philosophy, Plotinus. You can have all these things open while you're working on the midterm exam, and here's the stuff you need to do on the midterm exam. So if I go to assignments and I go to midterm exam, there's three things that you need to do. The first thing you need to do, and actually you can do this in any order that you want, so let me explain the three components. One of the three things you need to do is do the objective content. This is half the exam grade, and when you click on it, it's going to say you've got 60 minutes once you begin. You've got 1 hour, and it's due March 7th at midnight. That's actually the end of the day on March 6th, and March 6th is not this coming but next Friday. So next Friday, March 6th, 2020, you need to do this, or you need to get it in by then, and it's 25 multiple choice and fill in the blank questions, and I'm just going to go ahead and preview you for it now. If I click begin, and this is completely random for everyone, so it's 25 questions that could be in any order. Here's my first question. Which Socratic dialogue depicts the death of Socrates? Is it Philebus, Parmenides, Phaedo, or Phaedrus? And one of those is correct. And here's the deal. If I go to Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, and I'm looking at the slideshow while I'm going through it, hey, there's Socrates. And, you know, there's Euthyphro, and there's Apology, and there's Crito, and there's Phaedo. And Phaedo, Socrates imbibes hemlock poison while a few friends look on. Phaedo right there. Looks like Socrates is dying. That might be an answer to the question. Could be. And so all the multiple choice questions are all derived from the slideshows. So I've had a couple of people ask, on the stuff that talked about religions, like Zoroastrianism and Christianity and Islam. Where's the slideshow for that? There's not a slideshow because that's a lot of background on the stuff that we're going to get into in the second half of the semester. So that stuff's not really liable to questions per se, at least for the sake of the measured content of this class, but it's stuff that's the foundation of what we're going to build on from here. So 25 multiple choice fill in the blank questions. That's your job to fulfill that. And you can have, it's going to take you 60 minutes, or at least you have available to you 60 minutes for these multiple choice questions, and you can have these slides open, all of them, while you go through it. So that's half your midterm exam grade. What's the other half? The other half are 2 additional components, each worth 25%. And those are 2 essay questions each, which are right here under the midterm exam right now. You can do this without having to click on it. Here are your 8 questions, everything from Plato to stuff on Islamic philosophy. Look at these questions, select 2 of them. I don't care which 2 you select, just choose 2, and what I want you to do, and these are due by the end of the day, the 6th, but you don't have to do them in a time limit. What you can do is, for example, this first one here, explain Plato's theory of forms. And it has more to it. In your answer, be sure to explain the metaphysics Plato presents with regard to the forms. Let's say I want to do that question. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to open Microsoft Word, and I'm going to say, okay, Plato's theory of forms is, and then if I continue the question, I'm going to answer it as robustly as possible. And that's what I want you to do with these essay questions. Select 2, and then write as much as you can. It's not a weekly analysis. I'm not grading on the format. I'm really grading on how satisfactorily do you answer the questions. So write as much as you find yourself able on the topic. Then whatever you write, and you don't have to do it in Microsoft Word, I've done that here, but copy it, Control C, or just copy it. So write your answer to the question. Don't do as little as I did there, but I would say a robust paragraph or a page of content is probably appropriate for either question. Do that. And then, since they're exactly the same, you see midterm Essay 1 and Midterm Essay 2 look exactly the same. You have the same 8 options. You select any 2 that you want. And for one of them, click on Midterm Essay 1 or 2. Then what you're going to do, it's going to say, okay, once you do this, you're ready to go. Click Continue. And then for this assignment in the text field, you're going to paste your assignment and you're going to say which one I'm doing. So for example, I'm going to say here, I'm doing question number 1, Plato's theory of forms is. All right, let's say I write that and I'm good with that. And let's say, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Save and Submit when I'm done with the question. Let's say I had another question. Let's say I'm going to do compare the relational requirements of the Zhang Ming Kongzi's rectification of names. Let's say I decide to do that one. What I'm going to do there is I'm going to go to Midterm Essay 2. I'm going to go to Assignments. I'm going to go to Midterm Exam. And I'm going to go to the other essay. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go ahead and say, yep, I'm ready to begin it. And then I'm going to paste that in there. That's the question I'm doing. This is what I'm working on. I think Kongzi, and then so on. I'm going to write my answer. And I can write those extemporaneously. I can do it kind of as I go. I can look at these questions beforehand and decide exactly what I'm going to do. That's entirely appropriate as well. And so the objective content, 25 questions worth 2 a pop. That's going to be 50% of your midterm exam grade. And then each of the essays that you do is worth 25% of the exam grade. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 3 components, the objective stuff, which is going to be half the grade, one of the essays, which is 25% or a quarter of the grade, and another of the essays, which is 25% or another quarter of the grade. And I'm going to add all those scores together, and that's going to be your midterm exam score. Now, the final exam, when we get there later in the semester, is going to be the exact same format. It's also going to be 50% of it is going to be 25 multiple choice fill in the blank questions, another 25% for an essay, and another 25% for another essay. Now, like I said, these essays, here's the 8 questions. They're right there under the assignments now. You don't have to begin the exam to look at what the 8 questions are, but they're right there. And so you just select any 2 that you want, and in their respective components, or in their respective drop boxes, you are going to write out your answer thoroughly. And for all 3 components, they're due by March 6th, end of day at midnight. So if you get them in by March 7th at 12:01 a.m., at that point, they are late. And I'll accept some late stuff, but I'm taking at least 5 points off every day. Get it in on time by Friday, March 6th. That way all the exams are in before spring break, and I can go ahead and take a look at them and get those midterm grades in as soon as possible. Keep in mind also you have a weekly analysis that's due on the 29th of February as well. I think these things working in conjunction with one another will be just fine, but on the weekly analysis, whereas you're kind of saying things in your own words, here's something that I want to talk about in 2 pages. On the essays here, you're explicitly answering my questions and you're putting them into these boxes, whereas on the weekly analysis, you're doing a little bit more of a formal paper. So here I'm looking for something a little bit more extemporaneous, and you kind of just do it as you go along, just writing. I'm not going to look at grammar or spelling as much. I just want you to do the best you can to answer the specific questions. On the weekly analysis, I'm expecting you to do a little bit more where you say things like, here's what this means to me, here's what I think about this. So those are your current assignments right now. If you have any additional questions, I want you to contact me at thomasb@usca.edu. But otherwise, I hope you have a good rest of what little remains of your February. And like I said, any questions, please email me. I hope you all have a good rest of your February and a good beginning to your March. Let me know if you have any questions at thomasb.usca.edu. And I hope you're having a good time right now. All right, bye-bye.